If you said back in 2011 that Bethesda was the Rockstar Games of RPGs, no one would bat an eye, but now, 15 years and only 2 games later, people would probably ask if you forgot to take your pills today. However, there's one thing Rockstar and Bethesda still have in common to this day: monopoly. Take GTA, Rockstar has been doing it for, let's say, around 30 years now, and they have mastered it to such an extent that making a GTA-like game sounds like building a Tower of Babel. Especially in an environment where selling 4 million copies is considered a financial failure, and if a game ends up being just meat, some players will literally send you death threats, usually fueled by social media grifters. But even in healthier times, like 10 years ago, plenty of games tried to compete with GTA. Sleeping Dogs, Watch Dogs, the True Crime series, great games, but where are they now? Let's face it, even if you completely ignore GTA 5, the 4th game alone set a technical standard that nobody has been able to match to this day. And that's not even mentioning how insanely difficult this type of game is to make. So you end up with paradox. Millions of people around the globe want to play games like GTA, yet understandably, nowadays no one is actually making them. All that's left is waiting for the 6th one like some kind of holy grail. There's another monopolist on the market as well, Bethesda, the monopolist of the Scrolls-like game, who, just like Rockstar, has been doing this for about 30 years. A high-quality bar and the sheer difficulty of developing these games make them a risky investment for everyone else. But here the situation looks very different. Bethesda's monopoly has been crumbling for years now, and their authority is at an all-time low. 2 natural disasters are responsible for this erosion. One came from the outside, competition. The other quietly kissed Bethesda from the inside. Let's start with competition. Basically, even today, no one is really making RPGs similar to Bethesda's. RPGs where you can truly live in a fictional world, be whoever you want, and do whatever you want. Most RPGs tend to be more constrained, with a stronger emphasis on the main storyline. However, many games, starting with The Witcher 3, proved that you can actually combine absurd scale and quantity with quality worthy of a linear game. They proved that having 1,000 quests doesn't have to mean most of them are just fetch quests, and that in a huge open world, gameplay doesn't need to be basic and RPG systems don't need to be simplified. Today's standards and the pre-Witcher 3 ones feel like 2 completely different universes. People can't tolerate mediocrity or excessive simplicity anymore when they now have proof that it doesn't have to be this way. But you know, competition is kind of nothing burger, right? After all, the whole point of competition is to beat it and leave it far behind. A far more dangerous case is when you are actually your own enemy, because then literally everyone is against you and the only direction left is straight to the bottom. The kiss. Keep it simple, stupid. Kiss. That's the official game development doctrine Bethesda loves to brag about. And what it really assumes is that you can't focus on stories that don't consistently hold your hand or your brain, or that RPG systems that are even slightly too complex would cause you a mental breakdown. So everything has to be made for this imagined ultra-casual player with an attention span of 5 seconds. And that's just absurd. Would The Witcher 3 have sold 60 million copies if it weren't for its complex story and characters? Same with Baldur's Gate 3 and its deep RPG systems. I mean, I don't know how many players that complexity scared away, but the game still sold 20 million copies and is widely considered one of the best games of this decade. I won't even push this point any further, because you don't need to think very hard to see how absurd Kiss really is, and how easily this doctrine falls apart. The Oblivion Remastered was a sad reminder of what Bethesda used to be 20 years ago. Kiss was already present back then, but on a completely different scale. At the time, Kiss applied only to game systems, not to the story itself. And you can feel that. Almost every quest has excellent writing and memorable characters. Sometimes very bizarre and bold, but it works surprisingly well. And in this strange world of Cyrodiil, I'd even say that some of the quest writing, despite having a very different tone, was on par with The Witcher 3 when it comes to sheer quality. So in the end, it's a reminder that this studio once had exactly the thing people expect from games today, and that they deliberately chose to trade it away. It's kind of the same story with BioWare. They made a fantastic CRPG with Dragon Age Origins, and then spent the following years simplifying the series more and more until they basically killed the franchise. And the irony is that not long ago, Larian Studios did exactly what BioWare once did with Baldur's Gate 3. The game looked like the Dragon Age Origins sequel BioWare never made. And what was the result? Massive success. So clearly gamers still want this, not this watered down, oversimplified kiss of death developers keep insisting we need. But let's go back to the main topic, Monopoly. Remember? From the outside, Bethesda now looks like a wounded animal to the competition. And that changes everything. If studios are afraid to make GTA-like games because it's almost impossible to do them better than Rockstar, the exact opposite happens when they think about making Scrolls-like games. This is a series effectively abandoned by its creator for the last 15 years. People want to play this kind of game, and when you really think about it, the bar to outrun Bethesda isn't even that absurd. All you really need to do is good writing, high-quality gameplay and deep RPG systems. Even if you can't match Bethesda's level of world simulation or sheer freedom, taken as a whole, you still end up with a stronger package. And so, the risk of going one-on-one with Bethesda is laughably lower than it is with Rockstar, and that could have huge, very positive consequences for us as players. Not some distant future, more like a 5-year window. People are genuinely paranoid about The Elder Scrolls 6, because it feels like if this game isn't good, they'll have to wait another 15 years for the next Scrolls game, modding Skyrim in the meantime just to stay sane. But honestly, we have far less to worry about than people think. Look around. Games like Kingdom Come Deliverance, Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon, a genuinely solid Scrolls-like from a very talented Polish studio, or even a more mediocre title like Avowed. These are all early signs of something bigger. They are signs of the Scrolls-like genre slowly being democratized across the industry. And yes, I'll go as far as saying that this is happening because Bethesda has effectively been losing ground ever since Fallout 4. What we are seeing now are just the first symptoms. In the near future, we are going to see many more of these games because there's a massive gap in the market and business absolutely hates empty space. So what about The Elder Scrolls 6? I wouldn't bet $1 on it being great. I'd probably bet 2 that it won't be. But in the end, it doesn't really matter. If it's good, fantastic! We get another Scrolls game to sink hundreds of hours into. And if it's bad, then it's not a tragedy anymore. This genre is being democratized. The market itself will make sure we, as players, get better Scrolls-like games anyway. But what about you? Do you think The Elder Scrolls 6 will be good, bad or ugly? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, feel free to check out another one, where I talk about a game that's simply too long for its own good, Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon, and about what Bethesda actually does better than anyone else on a pure game design level. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.